This is That One Audition with Alicia Oxy. I listened to our interview.
Yeah.
And it was released June 22nd, 2021. So that means we did it in the spring of 2021. Like it wasn't like, and it feels like you had the golden spoon, like you're holding the golden spoon. And since we've talked, you've gone on, and at that point you were getting ready to go to do Turner and Hooch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was during the pandemic then.
Yes.
Because we shot Turner and Hooch was a pandemic job. I'll never forget it because it was everything.
It was all pandemic.
Yeah. Okay.
And then to catch the audience up, and we'll get into all this, then you go do The Rookie, then you go do Snowfall. And I'm gonna ask you the hard question, because a lot of people are gonna go back and listen to your first one.
Yeah.
And pandemic did happen.
Yeah.
Has there been a lull?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Obviously the strike didn't help.
Yeah, no, the strike didn't help anybody, but some people blossomed during that time and they started writing, and you do music. But I just want to start from a place of, has there ever, to me, Brandon, I mean, we also follow each other on socials. I'm like, he's working all the time. He's always working. And I had somebody write in the other day and they're like, you ask all these great questions. Can you please ask our actors what they're doing when they're not working? And but you're always working.
Yeah, I'm like in a lull now, to be honest. We wrapped Wayward in November, and then January and February there was the fires.
Yes.
So that was weird. So January and February there was like nothing going on. And I've been like hanging out since then and been doing some other stuff behind the camera and waiting for Wayward to come out. And so yeah, there's been a little bit of a lull.
I think everybody's in that same seat. You and I both. I did my last project last year in November, and then it's like this year it's weirder than COVID, and I think even the strike. At least there was a reason for the pause. Now we're just feeling the constriction of everything.
And like we could point our finger and be like, that's the thing. And this year has been really bizarre. And at first I was like, oh, maybe it's like the fires because everybody was like running for their lives. And that took a while to, I think, catch up. And
Okay. So yes, we're on this like interesting lull of the place.
Yeah.
It's nice when you have work coming up, but at the same time too, it's done work until you get into this promotional realm. You're not doing much. All right. So I want to jump into all of the fun things.
Okay.
I think I found somewhere. Was Rookie an audition or was Rookie a phone call?
Rookie was a straight offer. Rookie was an interesting story. I get a call out of the blue. Hey man, from my agent, you want to do an episode or two of The Rookie? Who says no? You're like, yeah, obviously. He's okay, dope. He's like, these are the outside dates. I'm going to send over the deal. Once we sign the deal, they're going to send the script.
So you didn't know what you were signing on for. And have you worked with anybody from The Rookie?
Nope. I don't know how that came about. I still don't know. No info, but whatever.
You never know when somebody's thinking of you.
You never know. So I get the script, and I think my first episode, I was in one scene, and it was like the last episode of the scene, of the last scene of the episode, rather, or towards the end. So I read the character, and I had no breakdown or anything.
Yeah.
So I read it. I'm like, oh, this guy seems like crime bossy. Like they gave me no information. So I was like, okay, like whatever. It's one episode, maybe two. I'm just gonna go in there and just try something.
This is exactly, I'm so glad, because also that first day when you get an offer, and I know everybody listening, half of the people have gotten offers before, and it feels like the thing that you're like, yes, people are thinking of me. But then your auditions on that first day.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because nobody signs off on any performance.
With a guest director, usually too, when it's episodic. So you also have a guest director who's, unless it's the showrunner.
My director was an executive producer as well. So he was like ensconced in the show. So I show up, and the first day it's an offer. You're just trying to like not be seen just until you're called upon. So, hey, Brandon, nice to meet you. Shake hands with the guy. Welcome. I meet Sean's great. We're both from Canada. So we talked about that. Action. And like we did the first scene, and then I have this voice, and I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, this could go one of two ways. Like it could just be like cut and we go again, or it could be cut and then the AD's, hey, Brandon, the director wants to see you. And he's, bro, what is that? And I tried it and nobody said anything. And I was like, cool. And then they just kept bringing me back. And that's how it started.
So they liked the voice. So when you read it, that what was your, because I watched a couple of the episodes yesterday. I was
Yeah.
like, this is different, a different lane, way to just try something
Mhm.
new. So
Yeah, totally new. Nobody knew it was coming. I was waffling back and forth. I'm like, am I gonna do this? Because like, it takes a little bit of guts, and they could think it's crap, but you never know. Back to what you were saying, I think I was like, oh, like who are like the most terrifying kind of characters that like I like to watch, and they're always like the more like understated, muted type of characters, the ones that kind of almost look through you. And so
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna go try to do a different thing with the cadence and the voice. And it worked out, man. But yeah, nobody knew that was gonna happen.
Well, I also feel like I mean, look, the Ricky at that was that season 4, 5, or 5, 6 where you came in. I can
I
look right
was
now.
in 5, 6 because I wasn't
Five,
in seven.
six.
Yeah, so I came in five.
I also think as an actor, what a great choice. You give them something to then write for. So
I think
that's the
so.
other thing too. I think when you're coming in for 1 or 2 episodes,
Yeah.
the more specificity you can actually bring to
Mhm.
something, you're actually answering some prayers. So they
Yeah,
need storylines to
you're
like,
offering solutions, right? And so, oh, like
yes.
this kind of like sticks out from because it shows that run that long. There's like a rhythm, and there's like, and then if you stand out a little bit, they're like, oh, that's like a whole nother lane now that you've opened up for which they can travel.
And nobody, Sean, nobody ever said a
Nope.
word.
It was so funny. And like we just cut and we just kept going. And then nobody said anything. And then I get a call being like, hey, they want you in a couple more. And I was like, oh, there you
That works. Well, just to catch the audience up
go.
too, you do music. Now, when you
Yep.
create characters, Brandon, or is that kind of the first time that you've gone in from voice? How did you think, okay, I'm going to try a voice this time. I'm going to do more of a cadence. Is it from a more musicality?
Maybe. And I know I actually never put those two together, but
That's what I'm here for.
yeah, no, thank you. No, now that I'm unpacking it in real time, like maybe there's something to do with it. Maybe like the slower, kind of more deliberate cadence is a little more scary, or you associate that with people who like control and are like
Mhm.
who like are a little more sort of nefarious. So yeah, there might be like a link there somewhere.
A
Yeah.
little something going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, look at you.
After listening to your other episode, and we left off on you being like, I'm gonna go make music now.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I saw that. There was another, who was it? Jack Houston, who sat in the hot seat, and he was like, I always start my characters with voice and then
Yeah.
I bring in body. It's just always interesting to see how people have their in lane, especially when
Hmm.
it's not it's still a pressure situation. Like you said, you could have gone in there and been like, that's not what we were expecting from Brandon.
Yeah, because I just talked to him 4 minutes ago, and that's not what it sounds like. So what the hell is that? No.
I like it. I like
No.
it. So then you're doing Snowfall and Rookie at the same time, I'm guessing from what I saw with Lineage. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's why I don't know if people noticed, but like Elijah started out with a beard, and then Elijah stopped having a beard because I was on Snowfall, and they were like, the beard's got to go.
And did Snowfall also ring the ding? Is this the lane that we're going?
No, we are not there yet. No, Snowfall was an audition. Yeah, it came out of nowhere. And then when I booked it, my agent was like, listen, man, this is going to be difficult, but I'm going to figure it out. Like in terms of scheduling wise,
Yeah.
because I was doing both at the same time. So I remember I went into the makeup trailer for Snowfall and okay, like we're going to cut your beard off. And I was like, no, because I have to work on the rookie on Monday.
Yeah.
And so I had to call my agent. He's stay in that makeup trailer. I'm gonna call the rookie and be like, hey, he's got to do this for. And they were fine with it. They're like, okay. And everybody was cool. Nobody really tripped out. They made it work. They put a wig on me.
Yeah, because your locks were gone too.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of times actors are always, especially in television, we think that they forget to have a creative eye, right?
Yeah.
I'm blonde, somewhat brunette, and they're like, nope, we really want a redhead, not even thinking that they can change because TV
Yeah.
moves so fast.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was specifically going to be my question: is how are
Mhm.
they? So they wigged you on
They wigged
Snowfall.
me. Yeah. At first, they were like, can you cut your hair? Like after I was in the makeup trailer, and I was like, no, like I'm already doing another show. And they didn't know that because sometimes too.
Snowfall didn't know about the rookie.
They didn't know that I couldn't cut my hair. I don't think they knew like I was still on it. I was literally like working like 2 days after my makeup test. We ironed it out. Like my agent is great at taking the bullets and being like, "Hey man, like I'll let them yell at me."
Yeah.
Stay there and we'll figure it out. There's always a solution. I did both shows at the same time for both seasons.
Now, Snowfall doesn't have this voice and doesn't
No.
have this cadence. So how are you managing? Is there something that you're utilizing to slip into I'm over here? Or is it like, I got the wig on, now I know what I'm doing here?
That was tough. I think the wig helped. The wig helped because the wig was like every time I would put it on, everything felt different. And also because Snowfall was in the early 80s. So it was like, it was like everything was very like early 80s mustache police officer aviators. You know what I mean? So I think that was a lot of just the costume infused with that. That informed it a lot. Yeah.
Will you tell me about the Snowfall audition? Because I always think auditioning when you're on a show just feels different. Like you even said, you're like, whatever, okay, I'm gonna throw it down. What were your choices in it? Was it totally a throwaway moment where you're like, doesn't matter, I have this job?
This is also like Snowfall, that the writing is so dope that you can't really F it up. You know what I mean? If you just show up and understand the material and say it and believe it, everything will fall into place. I don't know if it was a tape. It was a self-tape. Because everything is a self-tape nowadays. I booked it off a tape.
Yes.
I don't know. How do you feel about the tapes, by the way, like all the time?
I love them for the most part.
Yeah, you do?
I actually do. Yeah, there's something about, but I also, after being in the self-tape world for so long now, and commanding how I want things done, I'm also starting to direct and stuff. So that to me, it's, this is the visual, and this is how I'm going to utilize my frame. This is what I'm going to do. Whereas I wouldn't be able to do or have the confidence to do that before in the room. I've been in the room a handful of times since COVID for like Euphoria, some fun projects. And I just conduct myself differently now from self-taping where I'm like, what are you guys doing? Are you guys going to do this? Because I want to do this. And this
it becomes like a work session instead of an audition. Yes. That's what I try to tell actors. Make your in-person auditions more of a work session, not, oh, do you like me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. I don't mind shooting at home to do it on my own time, unless there's so major questions about the script. A lot of television, like you said, it's straightforward. The television that we have right now is so good.
Yes, yeah.
For the most part, there's not a lot of questions. I also, readers that I work with are actors. So we're having a work session. What do you think about this? Did we do this? Did we get the turn? So I like that play, and I can stay in that play for as long as I want. Okay, I got 5 minutes. Okay, I've got like 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your take on it, though?
I liked it in the beginning, and I think recently I've been having this conversation with other actors. Like I miss that energy, that sort of
performance anxiety.
Yeah, and like that, like you can like harness and then like challenge, portray that in the room, give it out. I think there's like a magic, there's like a kinetic feeling to that that's hard to replicate with the self-tape.
I agree. I feel like I discover a little bit more sometimes when I go into the room because of that adrenaline rush. The homework goes and I can connect with the person. I think for self-taping, I hate doing it virtually. I hate having my reader be on Zoom or FaceTime. I want a body.
That's stupid. If I'm going to read with a Zoom person, then let me do a self-tape.
But some people, that's all their resources, right? Because you get that. I just had one yesterday that they're like, sorry to do this, but we need it tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And I'm like, trying to find a reader right now. At 9 o'clock at night is
a little difficult.
It's a little difficult.
Yeah, I had a chemistry read on a Zoom and I was like, how?
How did that go?
It was fine, but how much chemistry can you have on there's just like a certain je ne sais quoi that you don't get with the tapes. But anyway.
I think also people have to be in practice. Like our Zoom chemistries, like you said, you might get a handful in a year. So I also teach actors, and when we work on Zoom, because that's the system that we're getting hired on now. So then people get that constant practice of, okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to look at the reader here. I'm at home. I can conduct my space. But it is a bizarre thing. If you and I were sitting in a room, we can tell immediately if we have chemistry or not versus, hey, welcome to the box.
And the people watching us can tell if we have chemistry or not, I think, even more importantly.
Yeah, I always have a funny thing when it's 9 boxes and nobody's coming on. And I'm like, hey, guys, do we acknowledge the people when you used to go in the room, you would acknowledge there's 10 people sitting right here. One's my reader. Okay. You would have some type of conversation. The thing that I don't like about the Zoom chemistry is the 9 people that are sitting there that never come on and say a thing. It feels very voyeuristic. So I always call it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, right? Yeah, the elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. Yeah, no, totally.
Yes. Okay, so from Snowfall, how long before Wayward comes this way? And is that coming through? Because I was just taking a look at your page too. You have reps in Canada and America, or are you just going with American reps right
America
now?
and Canada. So Wayward was another offer. It was, yeah. And because I had worked with the co-showrunner Ryan Scott on Graceland.
Yes, yes. I love when you connect the dots.
When he was like, when they were like, oh, like they want to talk about the role on Zoom. And I didn't even put, like you read breakdowns, I didn't even put the two to do together. And then Ryan popped up on the screen. And I was like, bro, and I was like, oh, because he was like one of my favorite writers on the show. And I was so happy to join it. And then we talked about it. And do you guys know who like you're getting for Evelyn? And he was like, I think we might be getting Toni Collette. And I was like, okay, first of all, I was like, yeah, like in my brain, I was like, yeah, me. And I'm going to grow wings and fly away after this. And then like a day later, it got confirmed. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So you showed up on a Zoom meeting for something that you got offered and you did not know that he was going to be there?
I didn't like, I saw his name on the thing, but I didn't, because it was so long ago. I just didn't put it together that was him from Great until I saw his face and I was like, oh, you. Yes. It was so dope. And then like I always say, if you've done this long enough, eventually you'll work with somebody who you're a fan of before you were an actor.
Yes.
Like one of those kind of, oh my God, wait a second. I have to talk to you in the scene. And yeah, like Toni Collette is like one of like my acting, just
same.
Like deeply, like a deep affection for her acting.
Brandon, it's always, if you can see it, you can be it. And in our last interview, when we were talking every job, I was like, no, that's my dream. You're doing the reboot of my dream, Twilight Zone. You're doing the reboot of Turner and Hooch. You're doing you're working with the people. And so when I saw this, and also, did you work with Josh Close? That's a dear friend also.
I didn't have any scenes with him, but we were around. And
Patrick Adams, friend of the pod, and also,
great guy. Never didn't work with him at all, but we definitely shook hands and had some kind words.
I'm very excited about this. So again, you get to audition on day 1.
Yep.
So how did you prep for this, especially knowing that you're going to work with Toni Collette? I want to know the building blocks for this because it's always different. Did you go in with a voice? I don't get to see it yet. So tell me what you created.
No, I didn't. That because I think the way the character was presented to me was he was just like a very affable, welcoming. It's hard to say, like some characters, they start off just level and there's nothing really like remarkable about the guy. He's just a sheriff in a small town who's like really welcoming. And then obviously they tell you like the direction the show is going. And so I think you have to, it's that fine line of not giving anything away in the beginning so that the audience didn't see the turn coming, or like teasing it out just enough where when it happens, the audience can look back and be like, oh, that's what that was. You know what I mean? Like retroactively. So yeah, it was like a great experience. And also because May was a showrunner as well. So also watching May.
It was impressive.
Like rewrites and then they'll do a scene with me. And then we go back and like, rewrite the next episode. Like it was astonishing. Like it was nothing short of incredible.
Let's talk Toni.
Yeah.
What's her process? What can you tell? What did you glean from working with a hero? How was that first day?
First of all, I have to tell you, like the first scene I remember watching Toni Collette being like, that's incredible. It was a scene in The Hours. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Where she walks in and she was talking about her life while she's like crying in the kitchen table. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I remember watching it being like, what is that? Like that person is not from Earth. Cut to meeting her. I would find at times I would just watch her. And like we would talk about it amongst ourselves. I don't know. I feel like there's some things you just can't teach. There's just something that she has it's magnetic and it's like highly watchable. At the same time, I think what I also gleaned is that like she doesn't take herself too seriously. and people mess up lines and you just keep going and it's fine. And then
Yes.
you do it and you're like, oh, let me just do it one more time because I think I just want to do it one more. And that's also fine. And like everything keeps going. So it was at once like super inspiring, but also it was normalizing. It was like, oh, and it's a job.
And here we are doing a job now, which is
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was
I
both.
do. Let's also, I'm curious now because you've been on so many different sets and I've heard, I have my way of handling stuff like this, and I'm curious what yours is.
Okay.
When they give you something like that at the beginning of the show, this is where it's going to go. Don't want to give it away to the audience. On the day to day, when you're doing multiple takes, are you the person that gives variation? Are you the person that's seeking to repeat to get it quote unquote great so then the editor can
Right.
make their choices so then they can unravel it however they want? What's your strategy now?
I like to give variation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me
I
too.
like to give variation because I think because that means that like you can pull the best pieces of every take. And when I say the best, I don't even like to think of the like that in those terms. You can take the pieces of whatever makes the most like sense to serve the story. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah.
And
And choices, yeah, they're
if you
not
want to like
set.
qualify that as the best, that's fine. I don't like to think in those terms because I think it's like too binary. But yeah, I like to try stuff. And I think most of the directors that I really like are, yeah, man, let's like try that again and let's see what happens. And because all you need is like a look and a moment and like a reaction. That's all you need. You need to just get it once.
So how are you, because again, on episodic television, oh, we skipped right over the cleaning lady too. I'm going to bounce
Oh,
back.
that happened too.
That happened too. For Wayward, did you guys have guest directors coming in, or did you have somebody that kind of took over the whole entire
We
arc?
had one director for the first two and the last two, and then in the middle, because there was only eight, right? And in the middle, I
Mhm.
think we had three different directors, and I was in seven out of the eight. So there's one director that I didn't work with.
Are you the type of actor? I think people will get some information on this where you're looking for the director to help give you the choices, or how are you helping yourself have a different take each setup, each go round without feeling stale? Who are you collaborating with, yourself? And what are
Yeah,
your
yeah.
techniques to get yourself out of doing it the same?
Without finding yourself getting stuck. I like to have a go myself. I'll tell the director, hey, let me just have at it. I do that in my auditions as well. Like whenever they're like, do you have any questions? I'm like, no, let me just give you what I got. And then from there we have a foundation from which we can adjust. You know what I mean? I don't like to have too much information in the beginning. I just like to do it. And like now that it's out there and it's done, then we can tweak and do that there and maybe less on that and like maybe a little more on that. So that's my process, I guess, like when I'm on set and when I'm in the room.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't have directors that they're just like, okay, do it again. And it's kind
Yeah.
of up to you
Mhm.
to produce that. I always give myself what I call like different jumping off points. Also, even for directors that are like, okay, just do it again, bigger. And you're like,
Yeah.
bigger. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I will interpret that what that means. We're
Yeah.
rolling. And
I will grow I'm 2 inches. What does that mean? Yeah. Like, what does that actually mean?
are we talking vocally? Where are we go? And so I just always have different queued up lanes that I want to play in just
Okay.
so I can direct myself when it's, oh, bigger. Okay. Well, I'm going to look down and be like, okay, here's a jumping off point that gives me a little bit more rage and anger. So I'm going to come in hot on this scene.
Right.
Like, so I didn't know, but you're a loose player. So that's why I was figuring out how do you play ball?
Yeah. I think it's also who are you acting opposite of? You know what I mean?
Is it Toni Collette? And you just have to listen and respond because she's going to do something different every time.
Yeah, that also informs it too. So it also, you have to, like anything else, you have to read the room and read like your co-star, who you're working opposite of, what they're giving you. Because I don't like to like create performances in a vacuum.
Mm.
Like these are my choices, like these are the beats I'm gonna hit, regardless of whether they're giving me like the impetus to hit it. I don't like to work like that. So I'm also let's find a groove, both of us, to sit in where it feels organic and real. I don't know
The
if that makes
last,
any sense, but
no, it does. And the last time we talked, your technique or strategy or what made you feel most comfortable in preparation, you were saying like, I need to learn the lines first and
yeah.
then I can be malleable. Has anything changed in the last 4 or 5 years when you're going from show, literally to show to show to show?
Hmm.
It's like going to different camps, different schools.
Yeah.
everything's run a little differently. Have you integrated a different process, or have you let go more of
I mean,
any
I
process?
think I've like dug into that process even more, especially when you're jumping around, because all
Mhm.
you really have is like the words, especially like when you have different characters and stuff like that. You have the words and you have your scene partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you strip it all down, you got that. You got what I have to say or what they want me to say, what you're gonna say, and like our connection. And trust, I think if you have deep trust in like you know what's supposed to come out your mouth. You know when you're supposed to say it after you're done saying what you gotta say. If you know that really well, then we can just look each other in the eyes and just let it go. You know what I mean? And then find it together. I think that's like for me, that's like best case.
It's absolutely. I think it's a lot of fun to dance in that. Now, Wayward's contained, right? So it's 8 episodes. Is this going to be an anthology series, or this is a mini series? This is one and done.
From what I know,
Yes.
sitting here, it's one and done. If it changes, I'm not lying to you. That's what I know.
I mean, I think a lot of them are meant
Yeah.
to be one and done's. Like
Yeah.
when I did True Detective, meant to be a one and done.
Yeah.
When it hits,
Oh, really?
figure
I didn't
out
know
how.
it
Oh
was meant
yeah,
to be one and done. Okay.
Season one was a one and done, and
Okay.
then massive success. And then Nick is scrambling to write season two, which is why season two was season two.
Did they do 3 of them now or?
Oh, they're up to 5 or 6.
Oh,
Jodie
wow.
Foster was that season? That was either season 5 or season 6. This last.
Is it like a completely different cast every time?
Yes, that's why I was wondering if it would be an anthology series since this is based around school where they're going. It's very
Mhm.
cryptic even in how they're doing any announcements around what it's about, like the
Have you
trailers that
watched
I've seen.
that documentary on Netflix called The Program?
No.
Okay. So that's like the jumping off. That's like loosely what the show is based on. So the program on Netflix is really great. I think it's only 3 episodes. It's about these for-profit schools that popped up in the Northeast in like the early 90s that were
Mhm.
like uncredited. And they were basically like, hey, we can fix your troubled kids. And so like they were going in and like kidnapping kids with their parents' consent in the middle of the night, putting like bags over their head and like driving them hours away into these like schools in the middle of nowhere in like upstate New York. So it's
What
like,
happened to Paris Hilton? I don't know if you knew that, like her
yes,
documentary, like they came and took her in the middle of the night.
yeah, that's like the impetus for the show. There's a, like I said, the documentary called The Program. It's great. I watched it to prepare for this. So yeah, that's what it's about. And then obviously the more you know about the town and runs on the school and it's, yeah.
So when May, did she experience any of this, or she just
May knew somebody who
that's what?
went, that she went to school with and then all of a sudden wasn't there anymore. And no,
Uh,
everybody was like, what happened to, and then 5 years later, so and so pops back up. And everyone's, yo, hey, like, where were you for the last 5 years or whatever? And Ryan, I think his mom or somebody went to one of these schools as well. So yeah, like, there was like a lot of like direct connections with the story and the writers. So
nice.
yeah,
Yeah, write what you know, or
yeah, that's what
elaborate
they
on that.
say. Or write what people have gone through that are close to you.
Yeah, that are close to that's so it could essentially be an anthology series. If they want to, they could jump into other
Mhm.
stories of this. The reason why I asked is I think as an actor, if Wayward has got 8 episodes, right, you know where this story is going, versus let me backtrack to the cleaning lady, to
Yeah.
Rookie. Snowfall's maybe just slightly different. They might have been a little bit more batched in their episodes. When
Mhm.
you get brought on, let's
Mhm.
talk about maybe the cleaning lady because we didn't get to talk. Was that an offer too?
No, that wasn't.
That was an audition. Okay.
Yeah, that was
So
an
when it,
audition and like an audition and then a Zoom like test and a chemistry read with Elodie and that was a process. Yeah.
so how is that Zoomy chemistry? Obviously it went well, but you're doing these and you're succeeding. So is there any tips that you have for people that are listening? What's your strategy in doing either the tape, the Zoom chemistry?
I think, and I tell actors this a long time, and I probably said this last time we talked, but I think the important thing is just, like I said, don't be so stuck in your choices. Do what you got to do, and then when they say do something else, whether you think it's right or wrong, they just want to know that if on the day we've
Mhm.
done 4 takes of this, and I say, give me just something different, you can do that, and it's not Because like I said, a lot of actors like, hey, do something different, and they just do the same thing because they're just like,
exactly.
yeah. So I think
As
it's
what
like,
you said, when you went in and watched people as a
yeah,
reader, when you were
yeah,
helping, that people were coming in and they just could not take direction. I think that's you audition yourself out of the part in
you
that.
do. Because even if like your take is good, when they see that you can't do anything else, they're like, I can't work with this person.
Then this might be exactly what the answer is to the question that I
Yeah.
have. When you have an anthology series or you already have 8 episodes or where the character arc is going episode to episode, Brandon can prepare. He knows he can give little Easter egg here and there as it's going on. On something like The Rookie, on something like The Cleaning Lady, they might not know episode to episode
Mhm.
where they're going with your character, much less even like you said, The Rookie, 1 or 2 episodes will then
Yep.
end up with how many more later.
Yep.
Are you the actor that's not really like getting married to any choices? Or when it's like all of a sudden here comes episode 6, and in
Mhm.
episode 2, you had something that was totally different that was going on. How are you adjusting and adapting to new episodes, new information constantly coming at you?
Yeah, that's a great question because yeah, like when they're writing on the fly or you're shooting episodes on the fly and like you show up in episode 2 and episode 16 isn't written yet and they're like, "Hey, we want you for 16, 17, 18." And you're like, "Wait, that doesn't necessarily track." I don't think that's my job as an actor. It's not my job to be worried about. It's not my concern. That's for the writer's room. That's for the showrunner. I give me what you want me to do, and I'll do with it what you want. You know what I mean? And I'll put my little color on it. I'll put whatever I do on it, but ultimately, that's what you guys get paid to do.
Yes.
And so what am I? And I feel like there are so many other variables. Like I don't have the bandwidth to put energy into all that other stuff. I'm just
No.
trying to do the best I can on the days that I'm working.
I just think that there's 2 types of acting. You've got film acting, you
Yeah.
got act 1, 2, 3. We've got a container. We know what we're going for.
Yeah.
We need to arc.
Yep.
Television acting, we just have to be a little bit more malleable and allow the writers and the editor to create. Sometimes you can't do the same type of preparation or work that you're doing for a film, for a
Hmm.
television show, because you're just going to get buried alive or exhausted. I think from
Hmm.
trying to make these character choices or backstory or
Yeah.
you're overthinking the system sometimes.
I always feel like the best days, like when I walk away from a good day of work, like I know on the drive home, like I like to feel energized. Now, I like to feel like, woo, like what a great day. Like I got to connect, I got to try things. That's how I want to feel on my drive home. Not,
Yeah.
oh, I'm glad that's over. That sucks. What are we doing? You know what I mean?
It's a good workout, right? Where you're
Yeah.
like, I tried this.
Yeah.
I always like
Yeah.
being like, ooh, I wonder what they're gonna choose. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
The TV and film landscape, it's constantly changing, but traditional actor training has largely remained the same.
It's focused on a theater model whose main goal is to help you stretch the expression of your instrument. That's why you can have years of training,
From scene study classes to audition classes.
to even an MFA, and still not be able to book a 2-line co-star.
That's why we created The Bridge for Actors.
A collection of tech, craft, and business online courses to teach you the skills that you need to go from a student of acting
To a working actor.
So now I want to talk this year because you said that you've shifted to the other side of the camera or some other roles. I know I have a podcast about auditioning, but the amount of conversations I've had lately with my team, with other people, the actor for hire business is changing.
It
It's
is. Okay.
changing.
It's not just me. Is that what you're saying?
Is a changing.
Yeah.
And less is being made. There's a constriction. More of the same people we're seeing because they can. God bless Nicole Kidman, but if she does another series, like how many more series can Nicole do in 1 year?
I don't. Do they have a clone? Is like is there two of them?
Do they already have a clone?
Yeah.
But really, especially somebody with your pedigree and being able to work on so many different shows, it makes your brain is well equipped for starting to create your own lane of things. What are you dabbling in? Which lane are you trying to facilitate to allow more work to be generated, not only for yourself, but for other people? What are you,
All the lanes I've been trying to develop, and I'm sure like development takes time.
Oh yeah, I'm 10 years in on one project.
Yeah, and like I feel like you always hear that until you're in it. You're like, come on, like how long could some years, a decade? I think that teaches you like patience and also like fortitude, because like things just have to things take time to simmer. And also it just could be a function of sometimes you write something that doesn't become relevant until 4 years later. And they're like, oh, this is good for now. So it can also just be a function of the zeitgeist and what's happening in the world. So sometimes you can be ahead of that curve. But yeah, so I'm in development with a project right now that I can't say too much about, but I have a Zoom about it on Tuesday, which is really encouraging.
Are you writing it? Are you writing it?
I'm creating it. I don't know if I'm being able to write it, but we'll see. But I like to become friends with the writers when I work on every job.
That's your buddy for the set, is the writers?
Yeah, because I find them fascinating and interesting. And I think as an actor, it's important to like understand the process inside out.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of actors, they just come from a very acting centric brain. And I think if you understand the other side, you maybe understand a little more about how like the whole thing is meant to work, not just like my little thing that I have to say today. But I think, and you hit on something, like you have to try to occupy other spaces in this whole thing called entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah. Around one space.
You'll drive yourself mad, I think, at this point. I think last year at this time in the year, I had over 70 auditions come like September of last year.
Yeah.
I think I have 20.
Yeah.
This year. So that's the industry's telling us what is happening. And if you're not in a space where you're getting a phone call, which 20 years in, you've been doing it longer than 20 years because you started commercials as a kid. So you've been doing this for a long time. So I don't want to be misleading to some of the actors that are listening that are just starting, or actors that are finally hitting their stride. Half of your jobs are going to be audition relevant, or they're going to be networking relevancy, the time that you put in. So you're 30 plus years. And at this point, so it makes sense that there's this lane of people know your work. So they're
also, it's really fascinating, not to cut you off, but all the writers that I was working with 15 years ago, they're all now executive producers and like co-executive producers. So all like the staff writers, if you've done this long enough, there's like a second wave of, oh, homeboy, the writer's assistant is now a co-EP. And so like networking, but just like working relationships, because you've had it. It's just like you have time in the game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
How's Wayward different for you than all the other projects that you've been doing? Look, Rookie, we know. Cleaning Lady, we know. Snowfall, we know. Great shows. Like, how wonderful as an actor to get to join hit shows, or shows that are really, they've got their audience. You get to come in, you get to make a splash, you get to carve out a little something new. You get invited into somebody's house.
Yeah.
This is your own house. Curious what we're going to get to see out of you that may or may not surprise us.
At first, I want to say the scripts are so strong. It's like kind of genre bending in a little bit, and like the Jordan Peele vein, where May's incredibly funny, but also like the scripts are like terrifying. And so that's what's really cool about this. And I don't know if I've ever done a show that touches everything, like heavy comedic elements, but really like dark, scary elements. And I think that's really cool. And so I think that's what I'm most excited about, because I don't know if I've ever done something quite like that. And I always feel like those are like the hardest shows to execute.
Yes, I do. I was a part of one. It was a comedic thriller, The Other Black Girl, 2 years ago, and it was very similar. They dropped all episodes at once, 30-minute episodes, but dangerous.
Yep.
And while shooting, it was constantly like, let's do that again with a more comedic slant. Okay, let's do it again. We want more of the intensity and the thriller aspect. So even while we were shooting, I had no idea what was going to end up on. And as a character in that, I had to understand which lane I was actually sitting in. My character specifically was the release, the comedic release. She wasn't in the thriller element. We were actually almost split in our worlds.
That's a really interesting topic to have with actors, because there's a lot of more of those types of shows being made.
Yes.
And it is like it's a little, it makes you feel like off balance sometimes.
I just didn't know how it was going to be perceived. So at the end of every day, or at that first swing, like you were talking about, there was a check-in, not necessarily with the directors, the showrunners, where I was like, where can I go? Like, how far can I go with this? So it was a constant temperature check. And it wasn't a constant temperature check where I needed like vocal affirmation. It just was them being like, please keep going. Oh, no, pull back. So
did you guys shoot a pilot for that, or just went straight to series?
It was straight to series, 10 episodes.
So like sometimes like by episode 4, they're like, okay, we know what this is now. But you know what I mean? But like the first 2 episodes, everybody's like looking for their footing.
And I'll never forget Eric McCormick, because I said something like, oh, this is so amazing. And he goes, I have no clue what my character is yet. And that was in episode 2. And I was like, oh, that gave me it allowed me to calm down a little bit as I was figuring it out. Cause I was like, Eric's been around for 40 years. He's a comedic genius.
Yeah.
I can figure it out with him. That was, it gave me a lot of peace as an actor. That's where I was trying to get at with Wayward, without you giving away too much. Cause I know you can't, it's hard to almost talk about a show like this.
Yeah, it really is. But I think for me too, like the character that I was playing, and I was playing like May's partner at the police station, like my character specifically was just a little more grounding. It was.
Are you more the audience?
Yeah, May character moves into a new town, and I'm like the calming, hey, everything's gonna be okay. Welcome to the town. This is how things work. This is until things get a little cray. And you're gonna have to watch.
I know, it's like cliffhanger here. I'm gonna leave us with, we didn't do this last time, some rapid fire questions that are just
yay, okay.
So fun. Okay. When you get an audition, who's the first person you call?
When I get an audition, do I have to say it quick? What are the rules? You gotta give me the rules.
You can go fast, you can go slow.
The first person I call, I have a buddy named Jesse Carroll. What up, Jesse, if you're watching? When I'm like, hey man, can you run lines? That's the first person I call. And we get on a Zoom and we start to learn the material.
How do you celebrate when you get a job? Are you at that place now when you get jobs? It's, oh, great, as to be expected.
I give myself like a day to be happy and a day to celebrate. And then the next day, get to work.
Get to work.
Yeah.
How do you recover when you don't get the job? Do you ever not get the job, Brandon? Let's just ask, because the last 2 times we talked, I'm like, and you get it, and you get it, and you get it.
There's a lot of jobs that I haven't got. I give myself a day to be upset and to be like, damn, that sucks. And then, but I always give myself the day. I don't try to like pretend it doesn't bother me, because it does. It pisses me off. And so I give myself a day to be like, woe's me. And then the next day, I get back to work.
Favorite actor you've worked with?
Ooh, favorite actor I've worked with. I gotta say Manny Montana. Manny was great.
Yes.
Manny, we used to have because Manny's also like, it used to be like sparring, man. And we just have a great time together.
Most memorable first day experience. We just went through a lot of new jobs that you've had in the last 4 years. Most memorable first day.
So I had a day where they didn't invite me back for the second day. This was like very early on in my career. I had booked a movie and I had one line in the movie. And Al Pacino was in the scene with me. And Al's great, love Al. I don't think Al knew I was in the scene, to be honest with you, because I had one line. And Al, every time Al would do his thing, it would just be totally different. So I didn't have a cue for my line. But I was so determined to be like, listen, I'm here, I'm getting a paycheck, I'm gonna say my line. So I just kept saying my line when I could. It was like playing double dutch. Can I get in now? Can I get in now? Can I get in now? And every time the director would be like, Brandon, you can't cut Al off. And I'm like, I must have been like my early 20s. And I was like, I don't know when to say that. And so I just kept trying to get my line in, and I was supposed to come back the next day. And they were just like, don't. They're like, I don't think. So I used to get invited back.
I love that Al Pacino just cut you out of the scene.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I was just determined to be like, hey, I'm getting paid to say a line. I'm gonna get my line in today.
You know what's so great is everything that you also just shared and how you do your preparation and stuff. You're like, I just want to know what it is and then I'll leave it alone. And what are you giving me so I can be in? Because we all have had that lesson, right? Where you have the number one show up and they're like, but they're not saying anything that's in, or they didn't do it the way I thought they were going to do it. Great lesson learned. I've worked with so many people where I'm like, okay, so this is what we're doing today. All right.
Every take is completely different. The lines don't matter. And you're like, okay, I got to figure out a way to do some mental math here to make my line make sense. Or I could have just shut up and just not said anything. But then you're like, hey, man, like what happened? So
you're at a lose situation regardless. You just have to hold on. Oh, we always have these great lessons learned. I have to say, too, I think we all have to get fired or let go at least once.
Yeah, or cut out when you watch it and you're like, hey, what? You're like, guys, I swear I was
like bringing all your friends and you're like, I'm in the movie. No, I'm not. Not even a little bit. Not a little bit. Okay, best rap gift.
What is that? What do you mean?
Best, like at the end of the show, what is the best rap gift that you've seen or received?
You know what? I got to tell you what it was. At the end of the last season of Snowfall, we all got shell toe Adidas with like Snowfall like in the shoe.
That's dope.
It's so dope. And I have one of the shoes on my bookshelf. It's like perfect.
I haven't heard that one. That's actually really good. Okay. Best on-set game or prank. Are you a prankster? Feels like
No, I'm not. I'm really like, I'm the type of person on set. I just sit away from everybody. I need to like preserve my energy. I can't entertain offset and then go on camera and entertain.
I'm always impressed by the people that can. A lot of number ones, they're like, bop, 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 and I'm like, that
Can't do it.
I know. I'm very much with you on that. Okay, at lunch in your trailer, working out, sitting with the crew.
Napping. I nap every lunch. I show up to every job with a pillow and my laptop.
That's what's in your set bag.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I gotta sleep, man. I gotta be like fresh and like sharp.
But when you wake up, you're not groggy or it doesn't.
Great.
Good for you. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Are you somebody that rewrites sides for auditions or on the day? Are you one of those actors that is, I have a new scene for us today?
No, but I will. What's the old saying? It's better to something for permission or ask for forgiveness.
Better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, I think something like that. So like I'll say something if I find it sounds better for me. And if nobody corrects me, then it's fine. Right? If everybody on the monitor is watching and everybody's, oh, it's great, and nobody notices it.
Yeah, same thing for auditions too, where I'm like, oh, okay, this is fantastic. This is a second time writer or first time director. And I'm like, let me help you out. This is what the scene's meant to be. Well, I'm just going to judge some of this. So it actually makes sense. You're welcome.
But I won't say that because I feel like when you say that, people get their backs up against the wall. 100%. I'll just do it. And I always believe, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Like if you're watching an audition or even like a performance, and if it's compelling and it's truthful, nobody's gonna be like, those two words are nobody.
No, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's exactly it too. And then also on television, I'm so glad you just said that. Having a discussion about everything costs money. So just do it. And if somebody comes up, that's what Script Soupy is there for. The supervisor will come over and be like, actually, they really wanted you to say it just like this. Okay, great.
And then I can do that. And like I said, I've done enough TV where like we're rewriting scenes on the fly anyway. And if that scene was going to be shot tomorrow, it would be completely different again. Yes. So let's just find out what like works on the day with the actors that we have.
So then as somebody who loves to have their lines memorized and stuff, once you're on a show, once you've gotten your groove, are you still memorizing the night before, especially when there's rewrites happening?
It depends. Like there were some shows I've been on where I'm like, listen, I know I'm not going to commit this to memory because I'm going to show up and it's going to be completely different. So I'm going to get a gist of it, but I don't want to be like in my trailer and they're bringing me rewrites while I'm getting my makeup on. Like that, there's nothing more in life that infuriates me. Because I don't know, I just feel like it could be avoided and like just putting extra stress on the actor.
Yeah. I've seen some interesting people, wonderful people respond to that. I watched Lawrence Fishburne get 3 new pages of a monologue and then throw it down in 15 minutes.
That's so dope.
He's been working for 50 years. He's been riding that bike for a long time, so he can do that. But I was amazed.
Also, I think too, if you've played like a character for a couple seasons on a show, that's like an easier thing where if you're new or if you're doing like a procedural and like all the facts of the thing change, that's a little bit harder when it's not as conversational. Yeah. So it also depends.
Okay. Final question.
Okay.
Or 2. Nope, 2 more. I'm gonna. Okay. Whose role do you wish you could steal? Or who got a role that you were like, this is what should have been me?
Like when I don't get roles that I like, I don't like to see. I won't watch the show. That's I'm a petty king. Like I'm petty king. I'm like, I'm not watching that. I did 4 auditions for it. I'm not watching it. But I can't think of something specific.
Okay. I feel you. When it's down to the wire like that, I'm like, I don't really want to see what version they threw down. God bless them. I'm sure it's amazing. Okay, what's the one thing that you've done that you wish more people would see? Because you have been working for so long. What's one thing that you're really proud of that maybe didn't get that recognition or attention that you want to shed some light on?
That's a great question. I want to say Graceland, but we did 3 seasons.
Doesn't matter. I sometimes like some of these shows too, and then they end up getting on a streamer and then they go away. Like sometimes it's really great things to revisit.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that show. And like I said, I just loved everybody involved. And nobody feels sorry for getting 3 seasons out of a show. But I think it was one of those shows too. I think it was just like a little like maybe ahead of the zeitgeist. But no, I miss that dearly. It's weird, like there's certain shows that are like your children, where you're like, man.
100%. I feel that way about characters. Like sometimes I miss them. Yeah. Where I'm like, oh, that was, and then I have nostalgia and I'll go back and watch it. And now that it's been so long, sometimes it's not an arrogance thing where I'm just like, I couldn't do that again today because I was just in a different energetic space and a different preparation space. And sometimes I have,
or there's something about that character that there's something that you're connected to that's like above preparation or research. There's just like a natural thing that happens, a dropping in.
Where I don't remember doing that. Oh, that was so special. You had a lot of those characters that I feel like it's fun to go revisit, take a look at. This was so fun for me.
I miss you dearly. It's so good to see you.
I know. It was so good to see you. Kudos. I am so excited to see this. Okay, so when is it splashing? When's it coming out?
September 25, Netflix.
Ooh, okay.
All 8 episodes. So you could do, I think, an 8-episode one day.
I think that's it. That's our show dropped, the one that was the comedic thriller as well during strike. Thank you so much. But all episodes dropped on that same day, so you could binge it should you choose.
Yeah.
Which I feel like these kind of thrillers you want to. I want that 8-hour movie. Are you guys an hour or a half hour?
It's an hour.
Oof, yeah. Okay. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
I love it.
Where can everybody follow along if they're not already?
At Brandon Jay McLaren on Instagram. I have some new music coming out at the McLaren Music on Instagram that I will be dropping soon. So yeah, those are the 2 platforms. Come check me out.
Thanks for doing this again.